Hey everybody, this is Christopher Small with CMS Law Firm. We do estate planning, we do probate, we're doing great. And I'm here today to talk to you about some more estate planning stuff, news, strategies, information, whatever you want to call it. I'm here to talk to you about it. And today, as the subject line implies, I wanted to talk to you about whether or not, or when, I guess, technically, you can be taxed in Washington State for your out-of-state properties. And this topic today comes from a conversation that I had with a potential client, as is the usual, we were talking about his asset makeup, and he's got a bunch of rental properties that he owns out of state that are in an LLC that is formed in Washington State. And we were talking about Washington State estate taxes, and I told him, you unfortunately will probably need to take your interest in those properties and allocate it as a part of your Washington State estate tax liability. I'm going to tell you why here in a minute. But first, let's talk about Washington State estate taxes generally. So we all know there's a federal estate tax. It's big, $11.2 million per person, which means you don't pay any estate taxes as long as your assets are under $11.2 million. Okay, for a lot of people, that's gonna be fine, no big deal. Washington State, however, has their own estate tax. That's why we don't pay income taxes here in Washington, if you were curious. And that estate tax starts at 2.5, well, it's technically 2.4 and change $million here in 2019. And the reason that that's important is because here it's not terribly difficult to get to that number, particularly when you factor in life insurance, when you factor in the property values that we've got going on around here, and when we factor in just the jobs and the money that's here. So $2.4 million is something to think about and to prepare for. And that's what I was talking with this specific person about, was this number. When you add into that the possibility that your out-of-state property could be factored into that, that number can go up significantly higher, significantly faster. Technically, or traditionally, or usually, whatever word you want to use, I can come up with some more probably if I had to. The Washington State estate tax is limited only to your Washington State property. So, for example, if I own a home here in Kirkland, where my office is, and I own another home in California in my own name, then that California property is not going to be taxed as part of the Washington State estate tax when I die. All right, but there's an exception to that rule, and the exception is if that property is in an LLC and that LLC is here. And the reason that is because LLCs are deemed to be intangible property. All right, it doesn't really matter what that means for you. You just need to know that they are, and that in Washington State, intangible property is considered to be property in this state. What happens often is people create an LLC, they put the properties into the LLC for asset protection purposes and for other purposes, which is smart, and they don't realize that those assets, although they are technically in different states, make up the value and the assets of the LLC. And all that Washington State cares about, all the tax man cares about, is where is this company located? They don't care about where each individual asset inside of the company is located. They want to know where is the company located. And if the company is located in Washington State, they're sucking all that in, and you could be potentially facing higher estate tax liability. So something to consider, something to think about, particularly if you hold property outside of the state of Washington. Now there are some strategies that you can employ to try to work around this. There are some things that you can do over time, particularly if you know you're going to be reaching that estate tax threshold and you want to start preparing for that. But I'm not going to talk about them today. You know why? One video, one idea. That's the rule. Otherwise, this thing would be an hour long. So if you fall into this situation though, just be aware of that. Okay, keep track of where you're at with your net worth. Keep track of what your assets are valued at. And if you don't have an estate plan, by the way, you should just come and get one, generally, because they're helpful. They're good for you, and they will save you, whether you're alive or dead, okay, believe it or not, and get her done. All right, that's it. Hey, if you like this video, please hit the like button. If you know someone that needs to listen to this or needs to hear it, please share it with them. Otherwise, just enjoy this content for what it is. And hopefully, if you need some help, you'll think about us. All right, that's it. Thank you so much. And I'll be here again tomorrow. Talk to you. Bye.